As the nights are drawing in, it must mean only one thing. Yes, new releases of beer from the supermarkets. And today I'm going to be reviewing this beer. This is a Buxton Brewery. It is called Mantel. It's a Simcoe and Sabro IPA, and it was bought from Asda, part of their new range of about 8 or 9 new beers I'll be bringing to you over the next coming weeks. But what's this one going to be like? Keep on watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Now, I know the number of videos that I've been releasing over this month has been, or the last month has been not as many. And there's one good reason for that. I've actually had a dry September, so I haven't had a beer over September. I've released a few videos, beer review videos in September. They were mainly from beers that I had at the end of August, really. So I sort of held them back for September. And obviously I've done quite a few different, some rock stuff as well. But now it's October and I'm back into drinking beer, which is great because I haven't had a beer for a month, and let's face it, I'm pretty thirsty. And what sort of prompted me to sort of kickstart this back in, because I was going to see if I could do September and October and even maybe November, but I only made a month in the end because there's a new release of beers. And I'm bringing you a beer today from the Buxton Brewery, and this is called Mantel. It's a Simcoe and Sabro IPA, and I got it from Asda. Now, as far as I know, this is a new release, but I know they're releasing about 8 or 9 new beers. When I went in there, the ones that had heard about, there's a new one from North that wasn't in there yet, and a few other ones as well. But I've got this one and a couple of other new ones. Got one from Seven Brothers and one from Siren. So I'm going to be bringing you those, and hopefully by the time I get those ones out, the other new ones will have appeared in Asda. But there's also some new ones in Sainsbury's, so I'll be bringing you those as well. I've seen at least 3 or 4 new ones in there that I hadn't seen before. So it's going to be a bit of the next few weeks is going to be quite a lot of the new supermarket beers, and I'm sure that obviously Tesco's are going to probably bring out, and some Morrison's as well. As we get closer to Christmas, they want to bring out that new range of beers. But as I say, it's been a month since I've had a beer. I'm already rabbiting on 2 minutes into the video. So let's get this beer open and see what it's all about. Buxton Brewery, they do make quite consistently good IPAs. This is a Simcoe and Sabro IPA, which is not a combination you usually see. Usually Citra and Sabro, or Sabro on its own, but not necessarily with just Simcoe. And it says here, it's a juicy and refreshing IPA using hop favourites Simcoe and Sabro, and it's 5.4%, so lower end of the IPA sort of scale. And whether it can be as good as their Citra IPA that's in supermarkets, which still is a really good beer. But let's see what this one's all about. Let's see how strong that Sabro is. I mean, I think Sabro is very much a good summery sort of hop because of its sort of pineapple sort of aromas. And Simcoe, is a little bit more earthy, there's a bit more pininess on it. But beer in a glass looks pretty good. It's a sort of bright, just sort of dark orange, really. We've got a pretty compacted head, 3 fingers there. Yeah, it looks like a pretty good IPA. Let's see what it smells like. Yeah, really sort of citrusy, grapefruit. Yeah, I'm not picking up those sort of distinct Sabro aromas. For me, it's all about the grapefruit and maybe a bit of mango in there as well, and a bit of sort of, those sort of stony fruits like apricot. But it's quite sort of, there's definitely an earthy element to it. So here we go. Let's hope I can still like the taste of beer. Cheers, everyone. Definitely picking up the Sabro there. You're getting that sort of pineapple, coconut, lime, creamy mint. It's all in there, but it's held back, and it's got this sort of layer of earthiness, and I think that's the Simcoe really. Gives it a sort of a slight pininess without going into bitterness, but it's got a slight piney sort of pine needle sort of flavour, and grapefruit, quite strong grapefruit. And I think that really does sort of counteract well with the Sabro when you get that fresh sweet pineapple and pina colada sort of flavour, but then it's held really well in check with quite a piney grapefruit sort of flavour, with other sort of lemons and lime sort of fighting to sort of get their sort of flavour out. It's wrapped in a nice soft mouthfeel, low levels of carbonation, as you want from an IPA. Mouthfeel wise, I think it's quite similar to the Citra Lupulus X, the Lupulus X series from Buxton, the Citra IPA. It's got a very similar sort of base, really, in terms of its mouthfeel. And obviously, it's got a similar in terms of the way they've used, I presume they have used oats. Let's have a quick look at the ingredients. As usual, the ingredients are in the most tiniest writing. Yeah, it has got oats in it. So we got oats in here. And as I say, as soon as you taste it, you think, yeah, that's similar in the mouth to the Citra IPA. But then obviously you've got quite different flavours in here. Sabro's in there, the Simcoe's in there to give it a sort of grapefruit, earthy, bit more pininess really. But that really works well with the sort of sweet pineapple, coconut, lime, mint, creamy mint flavour that Sabro is all about. I think that's a really good combination, really. I'm surprised we haven't seen more Simcoe and Sabro together, because it's almost, if you were putting hops on a spectrum, really, you would expect Simcoe to be more on one side and Sabro more on the other, because they are quite counteracting. We do get Sabro mixed with, usually with a Citra, which I think just sort of amplifies it a little bit more. But this is a really good beer, 5.4%, and as I said, £3 from Asda. And obviously, and Asda do a sort of thing that if you buy 4 beers, you get them for the price of 3. So if you bought 4 of these, it would only cost £9. So that's pretty good value for money. Yeah, it's a good start. I mean, Asda, as much as they've had craft beer, I don't think I've had anything that's anywhere near decent. Even, they did a salt one that was very sort of average, especially from salt point of view. Obviously they do get the Siren sort of has stuff in there, Seven Brothers, a Vocation as well, but this is probably the best beer I've had from Asda. It's a really good beer, and Buxton, they know how to make good quality IPAs, and this is up there. So if you've had it already, or you've let me know what you think. As I say, Mantel is Simcoe and Sabro, not the usual combination of hops, but it works really well. And let me know in the comments. Let me know if you've not had it. Go and get it. See what it's like, because I think it's a really good beer. If you like your sort of IPAs, certainly if you like the Citra IPA, I think you'll really like this. It just has a good combination of those Sabro and Simcoe hops that just work really well in partnership. So let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for the Buxton Brewery's Mantel, as I said, valuable at Asda for £3. This is a Simcoe and a Sabro IPA coming in at 5.4%, and it's £3. But obviously, if you buy 4 of them, it works out at £9. So pretty good value for money. But let's start at the beginning. Aroma. Well, it had a really nice aroma. The Sabro is in there. You are getting a slight now. It's sort of, even those few minutes of warming up a little bit, you're starting to get that pineapple and coconut through there, but there was a lot of grapefruit as well. A lot of those sort of more earthier sort of aromas. But it smells pretty good. It's juicy, it's fruity, and it gets those taste buds going. So I'm going to get 13 for aroma. Appearance. Well, I think it looks great. I mean, it's had quite a big head. That was probably down to my bad pour, but I do like beers that can at least retain, there's a good fit, there's a finger of head still there, and I think that's pretty good. It's a lovely orange hazy sort of IPA, just what you're looking for when it comes to IPAs. It's a solid 8 out of 10. Flavour wise, like the Sabro and Simcoe. Simcoe's a bit of a funny one, because you do get it paired a lot with, it comes with Citra Mosaic a lot of the time, or it comes with other hops as well. It's not usually on its own, but with Sabro, because you know what Sabro's all about, you can identify it. I just think it Sabro can be overpowering anyway, and it has that sort of creamy, coconut, pineapple sort of flavour with a little bit of lime as well. And sometimes it can be really strong, and sometimes it can be balanced out by another hop. And the Simcoe really does a good job of keeping it in check a little bit. The Simcoe stops it going too sweet, too dank, really, too overly juicy, overripened fruit flavours. It just sort of gives it a little bit of an earthiness, a little bit more pininess, and a much more larger hit of grapefruit on the back end, really, that just rounds the beer out and makes it a nice balanced drink. I think it's really good. And certainly the mouthfeel is up there with some of the other Buxtons, like I mentioned, the Citra IPA especially. Soft mouthfeel, low levels of carbonation. It's got a nice sort of creamy body. Just a really nicely put together beer. So flavour-wise, I'm giving it 34. Value for money. Well, as I said, £3 for a can, but if you buy 4 of them, or you don't have to buy 4 of those, you can buy this one and a couple of the other new ones, or 3 other of the new ones, and then you get you get the cheapest one free, and they're all £3. All these ones I've bought are all £3. So basically, you can buy mix and match 4 beers and pay £9 for them. So I think that's worth a 9. Even £3, it's a good beer for £3. But obviously, you can get it a little bit cheaper if you buy 4 beers at the same time. 9 out of 10 for value for money. And then my overall experience, it's a really good beer. When I saw it in there, and I thought Simcoe and Sabro, that's an interesting combination, but it works really well. It doesn't let either of those hops over dominate. It just works really well in partnership. It's very easy drinking. It's juicy, it's fruity. There's a nice level of grapefruit, sort of sharp bitterness on the back end, really, that really keeps it in check and makes you know that you're drinking a good IPA. So I'm going to get 15 for overall. I think it's a really good example of an IPA. So tighten those scores up. I'm glad we're back. 79 out of 100. That's a recommended beer. It's at the high level that recommended. It's nearly a highly recommended. But in terms of a supermarket beer, that's a very good score. So 79 out of 100. It's a recommended. It's a Whitesnake beer. So if you've had this, let me know in the comments what you think. If you haven't had it, I would recommend you go and buy it because, it's worth your money. If you've got an Asda close by, go in there and see what else they've got, because as I say, they've got quite a few new ones coming through. And I don't know if they drip feed in those, but certainly there's one called Constellation by North Brewing that I haven't got. I won't tell you the ones I have got, but because I'm hopefully going to get them all. But the North Brewing Constellation is a one that I think is going to be a good one because it's a New England IPA. North do good supermarket beers. That will be the one that hopefully will be the best, what I think will be the best. But so far, this one is definitely in the running as a good beer. Definitely would buy that again. So, hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you like it, a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, then please subscribe. Then you won't miss any of these new beers coming through. I think we're going for a busy couple of months with the supermarket beers, and hopefully I'll be getting some new beers in. And obviously, because it's winter time, I might even have the odd stout. You never know. So I hope you enjoyed it, and until the next one, keep on rocking.